The Qingqing sect was in a dilemma. They were afraid of Jianghu's criticism if they were to seek revenge, and they were also afraid of Jianghu's ridicule if they left Piuwu alone. It was difficult for them to send a large force because they had already suffered so much damage. Plus, there is no guarantee that they would be able to deal with Piuwu. As shown in previous fights, Piuwu did not consider it a shame to run away. Piuwu's fighting style, in which he would run away when the situation was unfavorable to him, and reversed the unfavorable war situation through sneak attack, was the opposite of that of the Qingqing sect. Due to this situation, it was impossible to even dream of moving in with the warriors of the Qingqing sect. In the end, Go Yokjin came forward. Until he came here, Go Yokjin only thought of Piuwu as an unforgivable man. So he tried to cut him off in one go. However, Piuwu, whom he finally saw in person, was not such an easy opponent. While he had a strange atmosphere around him, he could not be regarded as simply evil. The aura coming from Piuwu was somewhat sneaky and sharp. However, it wasn't evil. He neither has reason to fight, nor desire to fight. It was the first time something like this had happened. Go Yokjin was a bit bewildered. Don't listen with your ears, but listen with your heart. 1. It has been an old saying in the Taoist that when you hear, you should not listen with your ears, but listen with your heart. Go Yokjin blamed himself for moving only after hearing the complaints of the Qingqing warriors. He should have looked at the situation with his heart and with a broader mindset. In the end, all of this happened because the Qingqing sect did not maintain the purity of the Tao. Because he didn't listen with his heart, but with his ears, he heard nonsense that was not the truth. I'm embarrassed. I showed my ugly side. The reason why the Qingqing sect became like this is also the will of heaven, so please forgive me for trying to blame you. But I'm also a human being, so I can't help but feel resentment against you. But just give me this one thing, please refrain from killing for no reason in the future. Then the Qingqing sect won't stand in your way. I can't make such a promise. The Qingqing sect and I have conceded this much, and yet you're saying you can't make such a promise? There is a reason for a person to kill another person, but I have seen many people who kill people without any reason at all. The place where I have lived in Jianghu is not a place like the Qingqing sect, nor is it the kind of place where people are broad-minded enough to forgive and forget. Sometimes you'll have to kill people for no reason. That's the kind of place I lived in. So if you can't understand me, you can go ahead and try to kill me. At Piuwu's resolute words, Go Yokjin gently closed his eyes. Thousands of thoughts flooded in like a tidal wave in an instant. Would it be better to stand down like this? Would it be better to deal with Piuwu right now, no matter what sacrifices it takes? Numerous other thoughts filled his head. Why did the heavens send such a person down here? He suddenly had a thought. Go Yokjin looked at Piuwu with his eyes closed. He tried to see Piuwu with his heart and not with his eyes. Then I felt something strong. As hard as rock, as dark as pitch black, and as strong as a thunderbolt. 3 energies that did not seem to go together at all were combined to form a figure called Piuwu. Go Yokjin thought that what he was seeing was the essence of Piuwu. No wickedness was seen anywhere in Piuwu's nature. He knew all too well that dark does not equate to evil, and that light is not always so righteous. Just as there is no useless thing, there must have been a place where he is needed, so the sky must have sent him. Okay. Let's just stop here. Go Yokjin opened his eyes. For a moment, his eyes deepened. This old man was very nosy. I apologize. I just want to tell you one thing. Heaven has the attribute to maintain balance. It's the same in Sichuan. However, since the 2 major factions of Sichuan province, the Qingqing and Amei sect, stopped their activities at the same time, others will try to take their place. If those who seek justice take their place, peace will be maintained. But if those who seek injustice take their place, a great disaster will occur not only in Sichuan but also in the whole world. If you have any sense of compassion, please prevent such a situation from happening. I'm sorry to interrupt your good time. If we meet again, see you then. The old man got up from his seat. He disappeared as suddenly as he appeared. Pyeongwoo looked at the spot where the old man had disappeared. Yoom. It was then that Cho Hyang regained consciousness. Cho Hyang, who had been looking around for a moment, muttered blankly. Oh my. How did this happen? This is a big deal. To think I dozed off during the day. She thought it was because she had just fallen asleep, but never imagined that someone else had visited. Pyeongwoo reached out and wrapped his hand around Cho Hyang's waist. Ah. When Pyeongwoo touched her, Cho Hyang let out a moan without knowing it. Her body was now perfectly tamed by Pyeongwoo. Pyeongwoo placed his lips to the white nape of Cho Hyang and thought. I don't have anything such as a compassionate heart. Cho Hyang's body trembled at his deep breath. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Who? Tang Sochu sighed and wiped the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve. His whole body was soaked with sweat from the long work. Since he was working near a furnace that always spews out intense flames, there was never a moment when he was not sweating. At first, it was hard to breathe because of the heat, but now he's pretty used to it. Even though his whole body is drenched with sweat, the fact that he can do what he loves to his heart's content made him forget even the fatigue. Tang Sochu suddenly looked back, then he saw a boy squatting in the corner of the studio and looking at him. It was the boy who suddenly came to visit him a few days ago. There was still a distance between the two. Still, it was a lot closer than the first time. The boy's condition improved unlike in the beginning. His bones are still visible through his skin, but now his weight has increased to some extent. It was thanks to Tang Sochu who gave him food. They haven't talked to each other yet, but the distance didn't feel as far away as it used to be. Tang Sochu said to the boy. Let's go get dinner. Since I bought chicken, we'll be able to eat dinner until we have a full stomach. Tang Sochu made a big decision and bought chicken. Although the meat was tough, it would still be enough for 2 people. The boy reacted for the first time to the word. Chicken? Yeah, chicken. Do you know how to eat? The boy nodded. Tang Sochu headed to the kitchen. In the kitchen, there was already prepared chicken. Tang Sochu skillfully dismantled the chicken and began to cook it. It's been a long time since he started living alone, so he was able to cook just about anything skillfully. The sweet smell of fire permeated the kitchen. The chicken stir-fry dish was completed in no time. It was full of spices and very spicy. Tang Sochu served fried chicken and rice together. Let's eat. At the words of Tang Sochu, the boy approached and sat down as if possessed by something. After sniffing for a moment, the boy began to eat in haste. Tang Sochu looked at the boy and then began to play with his chopsticks. The boy ate the food made by Tang Sochu as if he was possessed. In an instant, the bowl was bottomed out. A smile appeared on the corner of Tang Sochu's lips. Although he didn't eat much because of the boy, he was still quite satisfied. The strange cohabitation with a boy whose name he did not know has been going on for several days already. During that time, Tang Sochu did not ask about the boy's personal history, nor did the boy talk about himself. Wow! Suddenly the boy recalled and vomited everything he had ever eaten. The chicken, which had been so deliciously eaten, had turned thick and wet the floor. Are you okay? Tang Sochu patted the boy on the back and asked. The boy wiped his lips with his sleeve and shook his head. The boy's complexion was very pale. Are you sick? Do you want to go to the doctor? The boy shook his head without saying a word. Tang Sochu looked at the boy with a worried expression. What a weird kid. One day, he suddenly appeared and sat down in his studio. Judging from the way he was, it was clear that he was being chased by someone. After sneaking into the workshop, the boy never went out. It's like being afraid of someone. Who? I don't know if it was a good thing to bring you inside. Tang Sochu let out a sigh. The reason he didn't expel the boy was because his past was projected in the boy. He wasn't chased like a boy, but he lived his life under the scrutiny of other people. For that reason, he had to live with the vision of the Tang family, while hiding his achievements and skills. If he had not met Pyeongwoo, his life would still be difficult. Perhaps he would live being pursued by those who coveted the vision or philosophy of his family. Therefore, the boy who suddenly hid in his workshop one day did not feel like a stranger. Tang Socha said as he cleared the traces the boy had laid on the floor. "Are you still hungry? Do you want me to make something else?" "I'm not hungry." "Really? But you threw up." "It's okay." The boy shook his head. Tang Socha made a puzzled expression. The first day he came here, the boy was horribly thin. He was skin and bones to the point that he could not be considered alive. So he paid special attention to the food the boy ate. Given the special attention Tang Socha paid, the boy ate food and recovered his stamina steadily. However, from a certain moment on, he seemed to be refusing food little by little. It wasn't that the boy didn't eat it on purpose, it was as if his body wasn't accepting it as it is now. He had been waiting for a boy to open up on his own. But he couldn't wait any longer. It was time to talk to him and discuss where he was going. Tang Socha asked cautiously. "What's your name?" "Nam Shin Wu." The boy said his name after trying to remember for a long time. "Nam Shin Wu? That's a good name. Where are you from?" Fei." "If you are from Hefei, isn't that in Anhui province?" "How did you get here from there?" "The distance must be over 1,000 li." "I don't know." Nam Shinwu shook his head. "Are you being chased by anyone? Where did you escape from?" "People in black clothes." "Huh? People wearing black clothes? Tell me more." "I don't know." Nam Shinwu shook his head once more. He frowned a lot trying to remember, but his head was hazy as if there was fog. "Ugh." Nam Shinwu let out a groan as if he was suffering. It was unusual to see him have his eyes closed and his body shaking like a person with epilepsy. "It's okay. You don't have to force yourself to remember." Tang Socha hastily hugged the boy and calmed him down. Cold. The boy's body temperature was so low that it felt as if he was holding an ice cube in his arms. The little boy regained some stability as he hugged him. However, the body temperature did not return to its original state easily. "Wait a minute. I'll bring you a blanket." Tang Socha got up after rubbing the boy's shoulder. When he was about to walk towards the chair where he had put the blanket on. Bang! Suddenly, the ceiling of the workshop was smashed and someone broke in. "Found you." The man who broke in showed his yellow teeth and grinned. "Who are you?" Tang Socha shouted in surprise, but the man ignored him. "I didn't know that you were hiding here. I spent so much time looking in the wrong place." The man who grumbled and revealed his life was Cho Samchik, the youngest member of the Seven Stars. Cho Samchik approached Nam Shinwu in one stride. "Stop." Tang Socha tried to stop Cho Samchik in a hurry. Annoying. Cho Samchik swung his thick arms towards Tang Socha as if chasing away flies. Puck. Tang Socha couldn't even scream. He just flew and fell down. Seeing this, Nam Shinwu's eyes lit up with anger. "Ah!" Nam Shinwu screamed and ran towards Cho Samchik. "What?" Cho Samchik unconsciously swung his sword towards Nam Shinwu, who was rushing like a wild beast. Sujiak. His way precisely cut through Nam Shinwu's chest. The feeling of the sword cutting through the muscles and bones came vividly to his hand. Nam Shinwu's chest was split long, revealing his bare flesh and empty breastbone, and blood was pouring out of the wound like a waterfall. It was a fatal wound that could not be saved even if a physician came. "Ah! I told you to capture him alive." Cho Samchik scratched his head. The request they received was to unconditionally bring back the target. However, since he inadvertently killed the target, they would not have been paid. "Well, if we bring back the corpse, we will still get half the price." Cho Samchik wrinkled his nose and walked towards Nam Shinwu's body. Then the unbelievable happened. What? Nam Shinwu, who he thought was dead, woke up with a bizarre breathing sound. "What?"